Do the Denver Broncos actually have power over Russell Wilson and have the leverage? Let's get into it on the Die Hard mailbag. Is there any case to be made? Because that's what our friend Nuttin' But Horseplay, he says, since Russ is a competitor, what are the chances the Broncos could sweat him out by keeping him on the roster, but on the bench next season? If he wants to start somewhere, he'd have to negotiate better terms for the team to release him. I was a huge fan of Russ, but his cap hit to value ain't it.
I think it's a great point. And I think the Broncos do have most, if not all, of the leverage here. They have the player under contract. They, want to make a move. They want to move on from him. He wants them to move on from him. For all of that to happen, Russ has to work with the Broncos. The Broncos don't necessarily have to work with Russ. If they want, they're going to be spending a lot of money anyway. They could have a really expensive backup or a quote-unquote mentor for whatever rookie they want to bring in. Of course, Russ does have the leverage of the dead money and how that can change. But if I was putting percentages on it, I would say Broncos have 70% of the leverage.
At the same time, though, like, if I'm Russell Wilson, it'd be cool to go be a starter. If I can just take another $37 million to not be a starter, I wouldn't be upset about it. And
it's
I really
so
don't.
easy to say if you're not a competitor, though. Not
Russ,
that you aren't.
I'm a competitor. Yeah.
For $37 million, he's not a competitor, though. And you know what? For $37 million, Henry, I'm not a competitor either. It really does feel with Russ, though. He really is the ultimate competitor. I mean, he says that, but it does feel like that. So, man, I do think. And when I think of like teams where he's going to go, I don't think he's going to be chasing a ring and going to be Patrick Mahomes' backup to go try to get a ring next year. No, he's going to go to the Atlanta Falcons, the Pittsburgh Steelers, someone where he wants to start. So I do think there's leverage in here. And I think that's what's going on right now. We know the Broncos, after seemingly shutting the door on him returning by benching him with the final 2 weeks of the season, after the season, George Paton, Sean Payton, and Greg Penner all said, there's a chance he comes back. That's what's going on right now.
That's the
these
leverage.
Negotiations.
Turning the wrench.
Yep, exactly. And they're trying to say, Russ, one, will you take a pay cut to stay with us, to be our starting quarterback? Russ probably doesn't trust that, that he's going to be the starter. Or it's, hey, we probably need to move in different directions. But for us to move in a different direction, you got to take a pay cut. I think that's what's going on last week, this week, and until we know a decision, that's what's going on behind closed doors.
And if you're Russell Wilson in that meeting, you say, "I'm calling the bluff." Like if I'm right and you're bluffing, I get all my money. If I'm wrong and you're not bluffing, then I get $37 million. That'd be my position if I was Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and as not a competitor, I can totally understand why.
There we go. Okay, as a competitor, he says, okay, so we're going to have Ben DiNucci, Jarrett Stidham, and Bo Nix in training camp. I'm going to be the starter. If you're a competitor, especially a Super Bowl winning competitor, that's how you see that.
No, and that is a fair way to think of it, but it would be wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
I cannot envision a world where Russell Wilson takes the first snap of the season for the Denver Broncos next year.
And that's why I call the bluff.
And then you think they cut
So
it.
you think you could have the best of all worlds, essentially. Like, you're going to get cut without taking a pay cut. You're getting all the money, and you don't have to play these games.
Exactly. And I don't even think the Broncos would be willing to have him back as a backup. Because, like, why would they be willing to pay $37 million to have Russell Wilson as their backup?
To avoid the dead cap? I guess it's better to have him on your team than...
But it doesn't change anything, though.
Yeah.
Like, the numbers are the same. Like, the only difference is the other $31 million that you still have to pay him a couple years from now if you keep him.
Here's what it would be. It would be Sean Payton truly believing that Jarrett Stidham gave them a better chance to win those final 2 games, and then realizing, shit, I was wrong.
He was.
That's it. He was. They averaged 15 points per game under Jarrett Stidham. Now, it's not fair because Russ did get all of the offseason, all of training camp as a starting guy. Jarrett could be a little better, but Sean believed he gave him a better chance right then without all of that experience.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very wrong about that.
He
was super wrong.
And I don't think Sean's the type of guy to say, you know what, I was wrong. Russ, I'm so sorry. We're going to mend this thing. So I don't think he's coming back, but that's what's happening right now.
If you think about, like, why Jim Harbaugh took the Chargers job. It's like he wanted to collect another Infinity Stone for his legacy. Is that a thing?
You sold
I
me
don't
on
watch
it. Yeah.
the movie. Yeah,
What movie?
all of them
Avengers?
now. Yeah, I think that's like a piece of like
Oh.
Yeah,
15
you're
different
right.
movies.
That's the sword, right?
No, it's the glove. It's the Infinity Gauntlet where you put all the stones in there.
So they are called Infinity Stones.
They lost. They
I
lost
just
me.
couldn't believe like you guys were like
I
having
thought
this
you were talking
conversation.
about like the thing you do before an engagement ring, like a promise ring.
Oh.
Like I'm gonna give you an infinity stone.
Well, he kind of did want a promise ring. It's a promise that he'll be considered one of the greatest of all time. Like
Yeah.
he wanted
Yeah.
to check off a box. I think that Sean Payton's box that he wants to check off is like, I can draft and develop a quarterback. We've never even seen him try.
Once.
Yeah.
You know where the guy came from? In the 3rd round. So to your point, he didn't really try. What school?
Come on.
Your favorite?
Come on.
Colorado.
No.
Oh,
Think
just
of
up
the
the road.
opposite of your favorite. I'm being a little
okay.
facetious.
Colorado State.
Yep, there you go. Garrett
Yeah.
Grayson. 3rd
That-
round pick by Sean Payton.
That's not a try. Honestly, what he's tried is
Big swing
Taysom
and a
Hill.
miss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Taysom Hill.
Like I guess he tried Jameis Winston too, but that's the other thing is like the whole like Sean Payton has a type for quarterback. I would say he has less of a type than almost anybody. Like I think that you look at what he did afterward. I guess Belichick did the same thing, going after like Cam Newton and trying that stuff. But like, I don't think that he's trying to find a Drew Brees. Like I think he's just trying to find the best quarterback there is.
I totally disagree. And
I
let's
know you
talk
do.
about that in our final 303. Let's put that on the clock and debate the other question we had coming in on the mailbag. It came in from our friend Bronk Euler, who says, Jimmy G, Bo Nix, Jarrett Stidham. Who would you put your money on to be the Broncos starting quarterback in week 1 of 2024?
Where's the nearest ledge?
Exactly. Exactly.
No, that's the thing. Sean Payton, the more I gather intel on and off the field, I think Bo Nix is the guy. So among those 3, I'd put my money on Bo Nix. Even give me all options, my money still might be on Bo Nix.
I was just talking about for myself. I want the ledge. Not Sean Payton.
Yeah.
No, I think Sean Payton. I think Bo Nix, Sean Payton. That feels like a two guys who would get along like 2 peas in a pod.
And for me, it's because he's the next Drew Brees, or could be. Like, he's the prototype. So I view Bo Nix and Sean Payton because I think Sean Payton sees Drew Brees in him. So I definitely think he sees that, or wants that. I should say.
He shouldn't. I mean, that'd be really wrong, as Ryan said. But yeah, I mean, like, it's not gonna be Jarrett Stidham, obviously. I mean, the guy he wasn't good. Like, no offense, Jarrett, great backup quarterback. Have fun with that. You're gonna make a lot of money. When you look at Jimmy G, he's a free agent, so I'm not just saying like he's gonna go sign a free agent. At this, like he's probably you might as well just bring back Russ. Like if Russ would cost you $18.5 million per year for 2 years if you keep him. Jimmy G, maybe it's like $8 million instead. So I guess you save some money. Also, you get a far, far, far worse quarterback. I guess he's a pocket passer, which we like. I think Russ might be even better from the pocket than Jimmy G is. The guy's terrible. So Bo Nix is the only one that's left. Why not? Like if you got to pick one, yeah, I'd bet on Bo Nix.
I'll say this about Bo Nix. One of the big knocks on him is his age. Sean Payton's here for a good time, not for a long time.
Yeah,
It is so
exactly.
true.
He does not care about the quarterback being 24 years old. In fact,
No.
he might view it as a feature, not a bug.
Maturity.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's like the Garrett Bowles mind games they play. They're like, oh, we need an instant
Yeah.
starter. He's 25 right now. He's ready to
It's
go.
like the JJ McCarthy thing. It's like it's cool if you're doing the Packers thing, if you get to sit him behind somebody for a couple years, ideal situation. But if you got to run the 20-year-old out there to be the quarterback because your other options are Jarrett Stidham and Ben DiNucci, just doesn't work. Like it's probably just a bad idea.
So here's what you do: you draft Michael Penix, who's 25, I think, when this year comes.
no, 24.
24.
Turns 24 in training camp.
20 turns. Okay. So you draft him, and then you also draft JJ McCarthy to develop behind him because he's 21.
Little RG3 Kirk Cousins
Oh,
scenario.
there you go.
It would have been perfect if they had those 2 third-round picks still.
Wow.
Yeah.
Use 12 and then.
No,
wow.
no.
Oh, no.
Use the 2 third-round
Oh,
picks.
use the 2 third round picks. Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
getting who are 2 third round guys?
Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy. That's
No,
what I'm saying.
Those are
yes.
going.
Damari
they're going
Mathis.
early.
Trust the mock
and
draft.
Brendan Langley.
Trust the mock drafts.
Hey, at least these guys like to run forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
true.
All right, that's it for the mailbag. Drop your questions over at thednvr.com's mailbag for next week. Thanks so much.